Recording in progress.
Being 5:30, we're going to reconvene and, I guess we're going to reconvene an open session for the Wednesday, October 23rd Board of Health meeting. There is a Zoom meeting ID. The Zoom chat will not be monitored. Participants who wish to speak must raise the hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. This meeting is being televised and recorded by Bourne Community TV for replay. If anyone in the audience is also recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. All items within the meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes by the Board of Health. So calling the meeting to order, we'll do attendance. Miguel, Margaret, Dusty, and Barbara present. The first thing on the agenda is 819 Head of the Bay Road. It's Christopher Gilbert of Farland Corp. on behalf of the owners, Messias, excuse me if I don't pronounce this correctly, Vasconcelos and Anna Alves, requesting renewal of variances granted by the Board of Health on 9/28/18, which expired on 9/28/2020, and renewed for 12 months by the board on March 23rd, 2022. Variances requested include a reduction of plus or minus 46 feet from the required 150-foot setback from the proposed SAS to a coastal bank for new construction. So we renewed it March 23rd, 22 till March 23rd, 2023, right?
Yeah.
But now it's 2024.
Yes.
So they should have come back to us last year if we only renewed. So basically their permit expired. They should have come back last year. Yeah.
Yes, their variance is expired, their permit expired. It's my understanding that they hadn't begun construction on the house yet, which is why they hadn't begun construction on the septic system. But I think Chris can probably elaborate a little bit more on that.
Wait, but the 12-month extension we gave expired March 23rd, 2023?
Yeah, they
So a
probably had
year
no
ago.
intention of starting to build, is my guess.
So they should have come back to us a year ago.
If they were gonna do work, yes.
Okay. Okay, so do you have anything to tell us about this one, Katie?
Nothing has changed, from their last submission. It was just the one variance from the coastal bank. No other comments or changes on my end.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, so there are no changes to the proposed septic? Were there any changes to the proposed dwellings that are going to be built?
Let's see. No, it looks like the architecture was still dated from 2022.
So it's exactly the same
Yep.
when it
And
was
this-
approved?
This is totally new construction.
Yes.
It may be in there, but what is the square footage?
Chris?
I think he's muted.
Yep.
So. Have any of the abutters changed? Do we know that?
I don't think so, and they included. Two.
Yeah, the square footage of the house looks like it's according to his nitrogen loading. Oh, yeah, so the reason why, this is from 2018, it's 6 years later. Is there any reason why you haven't, and the home design is from 2022, so is that different than the design you did in 2018? So I'd like to see the design you did in 18.
Looks like we don't have sound from him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chris, do you have your
Yeah.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah,
So yeah, a little backstory. 2018, the original design I believe it was rebuilding the existing dwelling and adding on a garage. And that design was approved by the sellers of the lot. The buyers came in, they had a new house design, which pulled it a little further away from there's a stream along the left side of the property. So it pulled it a little further away. So that's the new house design. That was when they went for I believe it was an extension of the variance. That house was on there at that time. And then since then, there's, long story short, the contractor disappeared on them about halfway through constructing the house with a significant amount of their money. And they haven't been able to find him. So they had to find a new contractor. Now they're finally ready to put the septic in. So that's why we're back for the variance now.
Okay, so is there any particular reason why you did not, our motion in 2022 specifically stated that you were getting the 12-month extension from today, provided a permit is issued by the health agent within that 12-month time frame. So you did actually not follow what we requested, nor did you come back to us. You know, it's been 18 months since your permit expired. So your permit, you didn't do any, you know, we granted you an extension from 18. You already had, you know, multiple years, and then you ignored the motion, the order we did by another 18 months. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We weren't directly involved with the construction process, so we didn't know where they were in the construction, that they hadn't pulled the permit.
But you're the engineer, so you're the one as the face of the project here to us. So, okay. Do you guys have comments about this, or?
So what is he,
He's asking for another extension from something that we gave him an extra extension.
correct?
Specifically, we said if a permit is issued within the 12-month time frame for that second extension, the other extension he got. So one expired he had already expired in 2020. He got another 2-year extension.
22.
He got another extension, and then we gave him an extension till 23. So he's already had 3 years extension, and they were supposed to get a permit. You know, like it said, provided the permit is issued by the health agent within that 12-month time frame. So he didn't get a permit from 3/24/22 to 3/20. He didn't get a permit before 2023. His permit expired, it's 18 months ago,
You know, it
3/23/23.
has to start all over from step one.
Yeah, I agree, because
It,
a lot has changed too.
no, correct. That's my concern. Even if you just recopy these prints, if nothing changed, but this is what we want to see. The permits expired.
Yeah, I have them refresh all the data. Like, this says March 18, even the disposal thing, but he should check, to your point. A lot has changed.
I'm uncomfortable with that. How far along are they now?
Nothing, they haven't done anything.
Foundation's not in?
The house is constructed.
How could you construct the house without,
They can. They had a building permit.
oh, they have a building
They-
permit.
Yeah. That part of it, they just can't get an occupancy without the
Are
Board
they,
of Health.
are they living in it?
No.
No, I don't believe it's finished yet.
And they won't be
And they
granted
don't have
occupancy.
septic.
Yeah, I would have them come back. Because again, you built the house, so when did they build the house?
I believe construction started in 2020. Then with COVID, the contractor disappearing, there's just been significant delays. I don't know if it makes a difference. We did submit for a new variance. We're not actually asking for an extension. So we did submit all the updated forms per per the original
So
design.
I'd
I
still make
believe
them
that the
come back.
builder's responsible. A permit's only good for X amount of time unless you show progress. Am I correct?
Well, that's building department, we're just doing our permit.
No. What I'm getting at is, I don't see any progress.
Right, I think they should come back and with, refile. I don't
Refile,
think they should
start,
get another extension, they should
at
refile.
least with us.
With us, yeah.
Yeah.
What they do with the building department is different.
If that's
But they have to
nothing to do
refile with us, so I would not grant, I mean, I would probably make a motion not to approve the extension, and that they have to refile.
I agree.
My understanding was that we refiled a new variance. This isn't an extension request.
So if you're filing
Is
for a
that-
new variance, then you still have to, you'd still have to come back.
Yeah, their request letter says we respectfully request consideration of the following variances to accommodate our project. Reduction in the setback from the soil absorption system to a coastal
But you
bank.
have no variance, you have no project to get a variance from because your permit expired.
They never had a permit.
No, I mean, we gave them an extension until March 23rd, 23. So as of March 23rd, 23, you had no approval from us. Your approval ended because you didn't get a permit before, within the 12-month timeframe. That was the nexus, that was why we gave you the extension till March 23rd, 23, because you said you were going to get you were going to install it within the year. That's why we gave you that 12 months. So it's been 2.5 years since then, and you didn't install the septic, but you proceeded with building the home. So during that time frame, you could have installed the septic. So you have nothing to request a variance on, because whatever approval we gave you, whatever extension we gave you through March 23rd, 23, ended. You didn't do your half of the bargain. We gave you an extension, so
So this would be a refiling for them.
a refiling.
This current
have-
filing is.
They would have to refile in total.
No, this current filing that they submitted is a refiling. This is a new variance request, new abutter notification.
Yeah, a refiling, yes, because we'd want to see everything again, like, if this is out, like,
Just the
But that's what I'm
variance.
saying.
Yes.
This, what you're looking at, is that. They did that with this submission.
but they didn't do new abutter notifications and all that.
Yes,
This is,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
dated 2024.
Yeah.
The green sheets are
Yep,
there.
they're in here. And their entry and loading calculations.
It's very, right here.
It says requesting renewal of variances granted by the board on 12/28/18.
That on
which
the
is
agenda
hard.
could be our error, but their letter specifically states variance, like a variance request.
Oh, all right, I'm going by what was on
Yeah,
that.
understandable, and that would be our error.
Where's,
So they have on the packet, I believe it's page 1, 2.
Right there. That one,
Yeah.
Barbara, you just passed it. There you go.
Yeah, that's their submission letter.
okay, so forgive me then, that
No problem.
that apparently is an agenda issue. But here's my other question.
Sure.
In 2020, and this could be another thing that needs, it says, you specifically said that you were there on behalf of just Lot 2. Are you working on Lot 1 or Lot, this in your letter says Lot 1 here. So are you working on Lot 1 or Lot 2?
This is just lot 1.
But and again, we would probably have to check this because the minutes from 2022 say he was specifically here on behalf of just Lot 2.
At the time, it was one address, but it has now been separated as 819 and 829. 829 has already been built, the people live there, it's good to go. So this being the only property for 819 Head of the Bay Road. at
Okay,
this
so it
time.
used to just be lot 2, and then they
Yes.
divided it
They
lot 1.
divided
Okay,
lots.
okay, so this approval is for lot 1 and 2, okay, all right. Okay. All right. So, I guess we'll probably need a couple minutes just to
Yeah, absolutely.
review
And
these
that was
because
our bad, sorry about that.
that's all right. So it's, so basically,
He's after a new variance. That's it.
yeah, so basically, ignore that. Yeah, so it's basically looking for a reduction in the setback of the SAS from a coastal bank from 152. You're saying, it says to about 110 feet, so we have to say what the number is.
Yeah.
We
And that's
don't
where
do
he's coming
about.
up with the 46-foot variance,
I think
right?
it's 40. I-
40.
Yeah, it's 40.
40?
That's a
Well,
misprint.
150 to 110 is 40. Yeah, I think ignore what's on the agenda,
That's all we have to go for.
Okay.
right?
Is
Like,
it-
we have to look at his letter from September 30th.
Yeah, but nothing's,
I know, that's was a-
nothing's
that was a-
46 feet.
That was a typographical error. So he's requesting a variance, it says 150 to, it says about 110, but to Margaret's point,
Well,
150.
now we-
It's 40 feet.
About could be down Main Street Buzzards Bay.
I know,
Right?
so it's,
So how about accurate
So
numbers?
yeah, his submission for this one was accurate. The original submission had that about, this one has 150 to about 110, but you can, in the
We
motion
had a contractor
specifically,
come in and about, well, plus or minus turned out to be a large
a
amount.
large amount, yeah.
yeah, we're not doing, yeah, we already have established with other engineers that we're not doing plus
Correct,
and
no
minus.
more plus
or-
and minuses.
So, how many feet variance are you doing?
So as proposed, it's 110 feet from the top of coastal bank. If you would prefer to put a 3-foot buffer on that, and we could call it 43 feet, but that's up to you. It is, let me see, there's 13 feet from the property line, so it can go further from the top of coastal bank, so the 110 feet should be sufficient.
So yeah, if you guys wanted to request that would they ask for the 43-foot just to accommodate anything we encounter in the field, that it does need to go a little bit further than the 40 feet, that's okay as well.
What do you think about that, Dusty?
I'm all set, because you got quite a space here.
Okay.
And I'm comfortable with that, but I have a question. If this is approved, when is this system going in? 2.5 years from now?
No, I believe they are ready now. So that, when the contractor left, he left with about $160,000 of their
Oh.
money as well, so that was another thing that slowed down construction.
Okay,
So I
I
believe they are ready.
put a time frame on this. I don't want to see it stretched out like this mess is.
Right, so we can
And
do it
60 days, I would feel. Do they have a contractor in-house that they've agreed to?
Yes.
Has he given a time start if this is approved?
Not to me, but I can get that information if you'd like that. I can get that tomorrow if you want to, leave the time up to the health agent.
I understand what you're saying.
we've had a season, like, excellent weather, but we don't know what's going to happen. So obviously, if we're putting in a septic, it has to be,
Oh,
You know,
I'm
some
not
waivers,
too
some waivers.
worried about that if he can do it within 60 days. We don't get very big frost here, and in fact, over there it's sandy. What's that bring it to?
I'm just counting my fingers. That's like Christmas. I mean, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas. Usually I'm the hard one, but maybe
You
we
want to go
give.
30 days? I'm
No,
just
I'm
giving.
saying, I would say, we've given them a ton of latitude.
That's it, but this is it. The house is built. What kind of in a quandary here.
Yeah, because no one can live in there until they have a septic.
Correct.
And I'm sure they want to get in anyway, because it is coming up to the holidays.
They can't, an occupancy permit's 100% completion, I believe.
Right, which would be, yeah, because,
Septic system is
Right.
part of it. So they need this to get
order to even go
an
in there, so yeah.
occupancy permit to move into that house.
okay. Do you think that's doable, Chris?
Yep, that's installation, and as-built and, occupancy permit, in 60 days, is that what you said?
Well, we're only concerned with our piece of it, you know, about the proper installation of the septic.
Yeah, and then I would wonder about, I mean, the fast systems are usually pretty easy to get at in a short time frame. That would be my only concern, would be the insert and the startup of it. Sometimes that can take some time.
So, but what's sometime mean?
It just depends on availability, so I'm not sure.
Well, I guess even if it's longer, it only impacts the homeowner because they're the ones that can't move in.
Yeah.
Remember, they can't move in if they don't get it, so
All right.
it's up, to, you know, so
Okay, so
I
let
would
me
not
ask a
do,
question.
I agree with, it shouldn't be a year, it shouldn't be, it should be less, it should be a shorter timeframe because they've already, again, you know, we've given them 4, you know,
Well,
we
you
did it in
gotta-
18, we spent a lot of time in 20, you know, we've given them extensions, we spent a lot of time in approving things, and a lot of things have changed, and they're coming back again for another bite.
The
It's-
thing, and you would know this, if they're dealing with a bank, if they have a mortgage, I'm sure they're looking for an occupancy
Right.
permit on that house.
So
Right.
they will lean on them to get it done.
Right.
Yeah, they'll put the pressure on them.
Yes, I'm fine if you want to make a motion to do that.
I mean, if you guys wanted to put even, you know, being more lenient with the completion timeline, but for it to get started and have it get moving is give a timeline for, we don't have the installer listed on the application yet, and we don't have the draft operation and maintenance agreement, so those could be things that we get pretty quickly. So that could be something.
But the point is we want to see the system installed, which is
Yes.
what they've been dragging their,
Mhm.
that haven't done in
But
6 years.
they can't start that until all those two things are done either, because I don't sign that permit from you guys until all those things are there.
I mean, it's up to me, it doesn't matter, it's all, you know, everything has to be done, to your point, Dusty, too. It's like, I mean, I would think they would
They'll wanna get
endeavor
this
to
moving.
give you everything you needed as quickly as possible.
I believe the homeowner's been pretty
Oh, yeah.
in the office trying to
Very
get stuff
proactive.
done as quickly as possible, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
So even if we say 60, that's up to them to figure out their own schedule, because it's, they're their own advocate in this, at this point, because the faster they move, the faster they get into the place. And, so yeah, so if you want to make a motion for the 60 days to approving this with a 40-foot variance?
60 days to completion to get
No,
started on.
Completion.
Completion would, on that, the 60. I'd love to see a permit in the next maximum 20 days pulled, because I imagine this is a new contractor for septic. Because the other, you know,
Yeah.
they're looking for their money and they're down Mexico.
Yeah, they have a new contractor. I don't know if the one they selected is currently licensed in town or not, so that would be something that we want to make sure of.
Well, he should give them a call and produce a license, and any other questions the board has, the agent has, answer them. And I'm sure you can text out to all of us
Yep.
that it has been met. And then we'll give you 60 days, so I'd like to make a motion on this, the next meeting, because 60 days isn't gonna matter.
Right.
But I want to see those, everything's completed. In other words, permits, pulled, questions answered, and everything. And when that's completed, we'll give you 60 days from that point on, the next meeting. Is that all right with you? Well, really,
Okay,
it's,
so, just to confirm, at the next meeting, you'd like to see, the permit pulled and all the documents in place, and then,
correct.
60 days from there to install.
The contractor, contact them, and I believe he can do it online for a permit, and he will, you know, get that moving, but I'd like to see some something here.
Yeah, so that gives them 2
Okay.
weeks to tee everything up.
And
work
just
with
so you
Katie.
guys are, our next meeting is the 20th of November.
Yeah,
We only
it's
have one
only
meeting
one
in
meeting.
November.
So it's a month.
We've been going every 2 weeks.
We have been, but in November, December.
And why do we do that?
The calendar you guys voted on at the beginning of the year was that.
So,
I was on drugs at that
The
time.
20th is, when's Thanksgiving? The
It's the
28th?
28th.
Oh, no.
I mean,
I think it's because we typically don't see a lot of projects during the holidays.
Correct.
So.
and then when's our meeting in December?
I forgot to put it on my calendar.
Oh, okay, so is
I
November
think it's the
tentative?
11th. I think
No,
it's-
November's scheduled.
Did you say December's?
Dan, do you know? Huh?
No, so
So our next meeting's the 21st.
unless,
20th.
the 20th, unless we change it, unless we have say we're gonna have a meeting, change the November meeting from the 20th to the 6th.
This date won't affect his 60 days, because it doesn't start till that point, okay? So 21st doesn't matter.
The 20th?
All right, how about the 20th?
It is the
It
20th.
is the 20th.
My life is ruled by female.
It is, you love it. Okay, so
All right, 20th.
our next
When-
meeting is November
Next-
20th.
All right, we've changed to the 20th.
No, it's always
No,
been the 20th.
it's already on
Oh,
the 20th.
Who
It's
said
already on
the
the 20th.
21st?
You.
Damn
The
it.
21st is a Thursday. Okay, so the question is, do we want to have the meeting on the 20th, or do we want to change it to be the 6th or the 13th?
We do have some submissions for the 20th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So the next meeting is the 20th, and we have submissions. Okay, so.
That's
go
what
ahead,
was on the
make a motion.
calendar. That was on the calendar that we received at the beginning was the
And
one
then that will
meeting.
give him time to tee everything up, then
Yep.
time to tee everything up, get her what she needs. If he has to apply, he can apply with the town of Bourne, so it gives him time to tee everything up. We'll know they're serious in getting started, and then they
Right.
have 60 days from there to,
That
yeah, so
will
we'll
all-
vote on it next time, on the
We'll
20th.
vote on that and set those dates. Actually, I believe we're asking for an extension to the,
Yes, he would need to ask for an extension.
did you hear that?
If, sorry, say that again, if they don't meet that deadline, they'd have to extend,
No, no.
ask for an extension?
You have to ask for an extension to the 20th. Okay?
Oh, continue?
So
Yes, a
hold on,
continuance, a
this is not
continuance.
clear to me.
Continuance
No.
till the
Continuance?
20th.
Okay,
No.
so are we continuing the project or are we approving pending completion of all the requirements by?
Correct.
No,
The
we're not,
20th.
no.
No?
You said we're not approving it. What's your motion?
I have
We're
a
gonna
question.
do
What
that.
if they were ready to?
Yeah, okay. Okay, so to be clear, let's just,
Yeah.
we've been doing a little chattering and
Yeah,
talking amongst ourselves. But to be clear, there's two choices this evening. We can vote on it, but
Upon
our discussion, when we're discussing it, if we voted on tonight, you do not have the things sufficient for us to, that we're looking for, to vote on it the way you would, as an approval. So we're looking for you to, so the second option is you can request a continuance until our next meeting, which is the November 20th. And that would give you and the homeowner time to coordinate with the Katie and get all the forms she needs filled out. It'll give you time to apply for a permit, and if the person, the septic installer, to apply for the permit, and if he's not licensed in the town, to apply for the license, because he can't install anything in the town of Bourne unless he's an approved installer. So that may take a couple weeks anyway for him. So it gives you time, it gives you, the septic installer, and the homeowner, who seem very receptive, and you've all been working with the health department, time to tee everything up. So that way, when you come in on the 20th, if this is the only variance you're requesting, you'll already have everything teed up, and then, provided everything's done, you know, we would be able to move forward with your project and then give you a short window for the installation. And that way, that
Okay.
gives you time to talk to him.
Yeah, I just, is there a reason you can't vote tonight? Is it, what is missing? I guess I'm only asking is, what if they're ready to go tomorrow to pull the permit, and, we can get this thing installed by the next meeting?
How long you want to give them to pull a permit? Couple days, 3 days, 5 days?
May I ask a question? Because the whole point is, what is the impact to the environment if we give them an approval that is contingent to whatever time you say, 60, 90 days or whatever? What is the difference for the health of the environment? What is keeping us from doing that? I'm asking you because you have the technical
Well,
expertise.
nothing, because the
in this.
home isn't occupied, so
Right.
nobody's using the septic. So there's no septic to use, nobody's in it, so there's no impact right now, except if there, yeah, because there's no septic at all.
No.
And there's nothing flowing into any environment. So that is a good point, Miguel. So I guess obviously, we'd love you to do that. You just didn't seem very confident in that earlier, so,
I'm just not super familiar with where the contractor is. They may have already purchased the FAST system and went to pull the permit and realized it didn't have, active variance.
yes.
See, the reason why I'm so particular on, I want these permits pulled and everything beforehand, is
But if they
everything keeps getting extended upon extension upon extension and no work. Now we find out there's a house already built. And no permit was issued for the septic.
So Dusty, then maybe what we could do is do, to Miguel's point, is say, okay, we can approve it tonight with the 40-foot variance, and that subject to installation, fully completed septic system installed by December 20th. That's your 60 days, which is what your original,
Okay,
'Cause-
someone want to make a motion?
like,
No, you can't
No, you have to make that motion.
like to make a motion. Now I gotta get the address and everything and put these things on. I'd like to make a motion for 819 Head of the Bay Road, Christopher Gilbert of Fairland Corporation, on behalf of the owners. Macias, I'm gonna butcher the last
I
one,
don't read that.
Vasconcelos, and Anna Elves, requesting renewal of
No,
variance.
They're not.
I'm not?
It's a new application.
It's
You
a
have to
new
read this one.
application, it's not a renewal.
You have to read this,
Just the bullet
So all
point.
that
just the
work-
bullet point.
Yeah, but just
It's not-
there.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion for 819 Head of the Bay Road, reduction in the setback of the soil absorption system from the coastal bank from 150 to 110, a 40-foot reduction,
And then completed,
and then completed by December
23rd. So you got
23rd.
60 days.
23rd, and then basically, I guess, would you like to, are you adding that if they do not come back, if it's not completed, their
If it's not
permit?
completed, then they have to start all over again, pulling everything.
Okay. We've
I
had
hear a
motion.
second?
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
No, you gotta go
A roll
individual.
call? Okay, roll call. Miguel?
I'm going to abstain. I think this is harsh on the owners.
We're actually doing what you just suggested.
If you, I just want to be fair for everybody.
Okay,
And
so,
I-
okay,
it-
but
it-
there's no more, we can't really discuss it
Well,
right now
then
and for
I'm
a
going to
second.
abstain.
Okay.
You can say no.
You
We
can
can?
discuss after your second, yeah.
Okay, we can still discuss. Okay, thank you for clarifying
We
that.
can discuss,
Yeah.
okay. So, the point that I'm trying to make is that whatever time we give, if it makes no difference in impact to the environment, and I understand your point, but they had their money stolen, and, I don't want to
We
be
don't
harsh
know
to the
that.
owner.
Their money stolen has nothing to do with
Nothing
our
to
do with it.
permits. We don't know that. We don't know what the amount is. We didn't ask for proof of that.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, it's been going on since 2018, the same house, and they built a house on it with, and we don't know what's happened from 18 to now, except they have a finished product now. We don't know when that happened, and
Well, but they had a permit for that. Is that
it
correct?
expired.
They had a building permit for the house.
They had a building permit for the dwelling, so they didn't do that behind the town knowledge.
We're talking about us. The permit
right,
is for
right.
our septic system, which expired in 2023. He had 18 months to tell us that he hadn't installed it. He's coming back now, saying now he wants a variance, and we're not, so it's like, you keep, I don't know if his application from 18 said he had a variance, that same variance, we don't know.
It was similar.
It was a very similar variance. What was it, if you don't mind?
It was 143,
3?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that rings a bell, 143.
And
It
the
was
only reason I'm saying is the
143-foot
technical
variance?
numbers that I saw here were outstanding
Wait a
when it
minute.
comes to nitrogen
You
reduction.
changed it
and-
3 feet?
Yeah.
crazy.
It's-
Okay,
Yeah.
so Miguel, now to be clear, he changed it 3 feet. His permit expired, and then now he changed it 3 feet. And in here, he just said 150 to about 110, and just verbally said, well, you could give me the extra 3 feet if you wanted, which was on his original thing. So it's just, people have to
And I-
install their septics.
Yeah.
They have, the point is, we want people to install them because so many because there are people that, again, they take a long time, yet they're still living in the place. Like, we don't know if somebody, what was there, or when the house was, we just don't know what people do all the time.
And
So what do you propose? Do you propose something else?
I'm not against giving them a time constraint. I just want to make sure it's reasonable to get it completed. Now, if you tell me that's a reasonable
I
time.
don't know, because they
Well,
have
I
to talk.
just
He
don't.
said he might be able to install it by our next meeting. That's why we were saying the 60, we gave him an
it
extra 30.
seems that they would want to, it seems they would be
Yes.
motivated to
Yeah.
do it quickly.
'Cause
So
they can't-
I don't
they can't
feel
live
like we're
in it.
being unfair, because I think they're asking, let's get this done,
Yeah.
All right.
And something may happen, though, that might make it
Okay.
difficult, but
Don't worry about installation time frame. It isn't like a house. That system can be in and done in 3 days.
All right, you can call for the vote again.
Wait, so, and then when's our meeting in December?
The 11th?
I just looked at it. Maybe
23rd?
And then,
13th.
13th.
Oh, no, sorry.
what is it?
11th.
it's the 11th.
Then we would, then I would, then to, I guess to alleviate Miguel's point, we say if there's any issues, they should come back to us on the December 11th meeting.
Yeah.
That way, it's a bridge between, we want it done right away, they say they want it done right away, and if they have a problem, then they come back on the 11th, and they should by then have all the paperwork in hand for the installer, and all, your work, your paperwork, Katie.
Mhm.
So I think that might be a good bridge. So if they have any problem, they come back on the 11th.
So can she issue a permit if they get the required paperwork done? So they can install and then be back to us by the 11th?
If the variances are approved tonight, I can issue the permit, yes.
Yeah, and they get you what, the paperwork.
And then
they
if
need.
if they don't think they're gonna meet the deadline, they can come
Yeah.
back on the 11th to talk
So
to you
we
guys
can
about that.
stick with this.
Yes,
Mhm.
and then they'll just come, and then, but we will give them the latitude, if they have any problems, they'll come back on the 11th, and then give us more information, because Chris, by then you'll have talked to the installer, you'll talk to the homeowner, you'll have dealt with, talk to Katie, so you'll know by then whether, you'll either say, oh yeah, I'm all done, or.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. If there's some issue arises, we would come back on the 11th and say, here's what happened. We might need another 30 days or something like that, but that makes sense to me.
Okay, so you're good with that, Chris?
Yes.
You
Make
good
a
with that?
motion for 819 Head of Bay Road, Bourne, Mass. A reduction in the setback of the soil absorption system from a coastal bank from 150 feet to 110. Any problems run into, please get back to us ASAP.
And then and then you're including that 60-day time frame for install, and if they have any problems, they'll come back on the 11th and let us know.
Correct.
If it needs to be adjusted. Okay,
No, I need a second, or
I second that.
okay, so roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Margaret, Dusty?
Aye.
Say
You
aye.
got me, I was
Chair votes
gonna.
yes.
If a
Okay.
person makes the
All right, so
motion or they
Chris,
second
you're
it,
clear on
they don't vote,
everything you
do
need to
they?
do, right?
Yes,
And if
that was
not,
it.
No,
Yes.
please reach
When
out
it
to the
comes
staff.
to
So
a
we'll be
vote,
happy to see
they
this
have-
project completed.
All right,
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Can't
too.
second
right,
his
okay,
own
thank you
mo-
very
their
much.
own motion.
Thank you.
right. I understood that, but it seems like,
Okay,
I'll ask later.
yes.
This,
All right, so Dusty,
Yes.
so,
using dates.
we're gonna move on to the next agenda item, which is Dan Barrett.
Okay, here we go,
Um,
this stuff
Dan is the
here.
general manager of iSwim. We're gonna review the proposed changes to the standard operating procedure emergency contact protocol and the 2025 recycling center policy. So, Dan?
Yep, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, lots of new faces, it's always good to see. My name is Dan Barrett, I'm the general manager of the Integrated Solid Waste Management Facility, better known as the landfill and where Dorothy's is. And the first thing we're going for your consideration is the standard operating procedure for emergency protocol. It hasn't been updated in a while, all the names have changed, phone numbers have changed, so we want to get that done. And then next, we'll talk about the policy for the drop-off center, where Dorothy's is and where the citizens obtain their stickers and take their material.
Okay, so Katie nicely edited, Dan provided his standard operating procedure, the emergency contact list. Katie updated it with our contact information. Just upon like further review of it, you know, I guess I was thinking of maybe adding in an doing something with their chain of command, so we had their contact information, because they have ours. So I was thinking maybe,
One chief.
yeah, so maybe Dan can work with the health department and Katie, just updating this a little bit more, and then we'll just, once Dan is okay with it, and Katie's already edited it, if you see her markups, you know, we could just, we could all give our final approval at the next meeting on this, because it looks like it's in really good shape, especially with the Katie edited on the chain of title, or Katie or Stacy, I don't know which one, I'm just, okay. You know, to do like, if he can't get Katie, then he goes down the line, and if
Okay.
you can't get anyone, then you start at the top until you get one of us, because by then, you know, you just,
Yeah, we just keep going until we
Yeah.
get somebody.
and then, you know, just wordsmithing a few little things. So do you guys think that's okay if we just approve this next time after Dan works with Katie on their contact
Definitely.
information?
Definitely.
Okay, so,
What would be our response, once one of us is contacted, if they have to move to this chain, what would can we stipulate the steps that we would take once we were contacted?
yeah, so basically, and this is normally, I feel like we get contacted about whales.
Yes.
That's what I was gonna use
Yeah,
as
so
an
Dan, do you want to talk
example.
about the whales in general?
Yeah, this does get exercised, not to the extent, this is clearly for real big emergency, not that a death of a whale isn't an emergency, but we get contacted by, typically it's IFAW, the International Fund for Animal and Wildlife, and they give us a call, let us know they're coming in with a whale, which doesn't sound like a big thing, but if it's not done properly,
A whale's
it
a
can
big
create real problems.
Yeah.
No stories necessary there, but, so we have a pretty good operation going now. The folks that bring them in know what to do, our folks know what to do. We know to get a hold of a Board of Health member to let them know. And then, similar to what I think happens here, as long as we talk to somebody, we know you guys know. Because, you know, if something does happen, we've had a couple of fires, we've had, you know, a few things go on up there where we have had to activate this. And just so we know that somebody up there knows, because we need to get back to doing what it is that we need to do.
So basically, it's informative. It's
Correct.
basic, just that we are aware, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Board of Health, to be honest with you, just to kind of give you what happens and my take on it, there's the incident command procedure, which you probably have heard of. Typically in a situation like this, for a fire, for example, we just hold our own and make sure we're protecting everything we need to protect until the fire department gets there, or the police department. Well, typically when the fire department comes, the ranking officer immediately becomes the incident commander, and that's where everything, we step back and he starts assigning. You're up to communications, you're in for helping us with your facilities and what you can provide. So you kind of get the deal. And then we back off and do exactly what we're told. So there is no fear of no one being in charge, because when the fire chief shows up, he's doing his thing, or the police chief, whoever it might be, the ranking officer, they do their thing.
Okay.
All right, and then Dusty, though, I thought when a whale came, didn't we have to say yes to do something? Like you usually call about the whales, usually the
Oh,
one.
no, what I do, usually Asa contacts me, and he gives me approximate time that, what date, that day or the next day
Yeah,
that it's
okay.
about to arrive. I just go up there, make sure the whale is covered, it's in a closed area,
Okay.
Usually they try for a dumpster, or the last one was a dolphin, and it was in a closed trailer, 4 foot high. They take it up above, and then they unload it, and prepare to do a necropsy on it.
Okay, so then we'll just do, like, when we talk about it next time, maybe we just do like similar to what we were talking about earlier, like a standard operating procedure, like whoever approves it, or somebody has to go up there and make sure these things are being done.
Yeah.
Something like that. You guys there might already be one somewhere, I don't know.
I mean, typically in the past they've called us, it's more of an alert that this is happening that's outside of the normal operations.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
go prove that they're doing it correctly.
Oh, but Dusty does, so we'll just Dusty can do it.
It's easier that way.
Yeah, so that's fine. Well, Dusty can do it. He's
I
experienced.
love watching those girls cut that thing.
Oh. All right, so that would be our procedure. Just once we know, Dusty can do it. Oh, I wouldn't want to.
It's
interesting to watch them.
He is our designated.
You can come visit
I'll do
it.
one. All right, I'll do one with you.
Okay.
All right, okay, so we'll, do this at the next meeting, finalize it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And then the next thing is, Dan, you have your 2025,
Yep, we have the recycling center policy for the drop-off center, as I said, and I will say that this document gets a lot of traction. Folks who've been around for a while know that this
Any
thing.
changes?
No changes.
Okay.
This year for the first time in a long time. So it's pretty much stays the same. We did a little bit of tweaking, Barbara actually helped us out, and she straightened out some of the fonts so it looks a little better, it fits a
and
little
Katie,
better on you.
Katie too. Katie's
Katie.
great. She's great.
Yeah, yep. So we appreciate the help, and we're ready to go. And then once we leave here, it's actually a policy, so it's under the direction of the Board of Selectmen. But the Board of Selectmen always make sure that we came to see you first. And if there were any changes you folks wanted to make, we would work with you on those. The biggest timeline that we have now is getting to the printer, because if we don't have these things ready to be handed out in mid-December, somebody's in trouble. I'm gonna probably be on vacation, but sticker handouts are an important thing.
Just one thing. Dan, you guys do a great job, and everything changes. Now you're pulling with NiCad batteries. People don't realize, how dangerous they are. And they throw them in regular trash. I've seen it. I've seen everything go wrong up there. Chemicals, they just dump. So you're prepared for everything, and they're well-schooled.
It is. I have a fantastic staff. I mean, anything you say that's good up there is due to my staff. They're fantastic, they're hardworking, they pay attention, and above all, they take pride in what they do. Right now, we have 4 people that are HAZWOP trained, hazardous waste operations and emergency response. Myself, Asa, Sal Barbetto, and Ronnie Bosnengo. So Ace is out right now, as a matter of fact, getting his training. He hasn't
Oh,
had it
you
yet.
scared me there. I thought you were gonna say he was having a medical issue.
No, that's you and me, Dusty. We're all set.
We're done.
So to kind of, to Dusty's point, we had a lithium-ion battery catch fire yesterday while we were
Another one?
moving metal. We were loading metal out, and it broke and caught fire. And we've had a couple of experiences with it, but every time's a new time. We're working closely with the fire department. They're going to set up some training for us, and we're going to get some supplies so that we can properly contain them. It's still a new thing. It's very new. So we're very, very cautious of it. It was pretty interesting. A battery pack about this big, it was the back of a 60-yard trailer, started to throw a little smoke. And I go, okay. So happened to be in my office. I grabbed the fire extinguisher. I went out. Our guys are real good at responding. We had the water truck over there in less than 5 minutes with the crew. And we had the guy dump it. I mean, we had no choice. You have to. Once you dump it, then the oxygen gets exposed, and now it's game on. If necessary, we're ready to call the fire department immediately. We got our phones in our hand. We try not to call those folks out unless we absolutely have to, because we would rather have those resources dedicated to protection of the town and the people up there. But we were able to get it put out. We isolated it, and we buried it in sand in a bucket, took it up to the landfill, and buried it in ash, which is completely inert. So nothing, it's done. So it is interesting. Asa happened to be at training, and we called him, and the instructor said, "I don't even dare to ask you what you're looking at right now." And he said, "No, it's fine." You know, and I don't want to be overly dramatic, but our guys are well aware. If somebody pulls in there and kicks that tailgate open, you don't know what's going to come out. So we have to be ready to go, and the boys are well schooled. Boys and girls, pardon me.
A couple ladies up there.
There are. There are.
Yeah, so there's no changes on this since the last time, so,
Say we take a vote to pass it.
yeah. So,
Do we make a motion to accept this recycling center policy calendar for 2025? Is that an acceptable motion?
do you have a second?
I second.
Perfect. All those in favor? Aye. We don't have
Aye.
to roll call vote. Aye. All right. And then, Dan, is there anything else you want to bring up while you're here?
I'll be quick, because I know you folks would much rather be home than listen to me drone on. But as I was telling some folks earlier, there's a lot going on up there right now. You may have heard or not heard. We received our landfill, our expansion, which bought us another 20 years of life.
Okay.
We're moving to the south with all our infrastructure. We're going to build a new garage. Our mechanics have been working in a garage that was built in 1967. It's not big enough to hold a big machine, so in the wintertime, they're laying outside in the snow fixing tracks, and it'll be a lot better. The offices are okay, we're all right, we're warm, but we're going to move all that out. Eventually, we're going to have to move the transfer station as well, because we need to start digging. Time is of the essence. It doesn't seem like it. We got about 4 years up on top of the existing landfill. Then we need to be down, and we need to dig out where the offices are sitting right now. About 250,000 yards worth of sand has to go. So we'll be moving dirt as quickly as we can. We have a schedule out right now. Ace is chairman of the building committee for the new building, so we're pushing those things forward. We've got most of the litigation, or most of the mitigation land knocked down. All we're waiting for now is the closing. So I would like to come back to you guys so that you get an idea of what's going on. Board of Health typically is asked publicly, like, what are they doing up there at the landfill? So the last thing I want is for you guys not to know what's going on. Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you have a drone?
Yes, we do.
Could you take a drone picture up overhead of that place?
Yeah, you know what? When I come back next time, and I've told Asa this 100 times, he's
Yeah,
a PE
I
civil-
figured you were gonna dump it on him. But,
Yeah, he's a civil engineer, very, very talented in CAD. What a find for us. He actually did some of the engineering on the previous liners. He moved on away from from our engineering firm, And he made the mistake of coming in the office one day. I taped him to the chair, and I didn't have an operations manager. I was the operations manager and the general manager. So it was very good to get him up there. The town is a great place to work, great place to work with. We explained what the drone would do for us. It paid for itself in the first year we had it. We can do all our own sighting. They're asking us to do possibly survey in the building, which we can do. We're very capable of that. So the fascinating thing for me, anyway, I did everything by hand. I went out and shot with a transit and laid things out prior to that. Walking up and down the slopes, that's why I needed a knee. But anyway, all that being said, to have Asa come in and show you a view of where things are going to be, I can narrate and say this is where the building's going to go, but he has the capability of showing you the picture. He can turn it sideways and cut it so that you can look at a profile of it. It's just absolutely amazing what we can do.
Yeah, that would be great, Dan, yeah.
So we'll give a little presentation, kind of set you
I'd
guys
love
up
to.
so that you know what's going on.
Yeah, so I think you've sat through our thing. Our next meeting is November 20th, and then the one after that is December 11th. And then I don't think we've set the 2020,
So yeah, it would be a tentative
25.
second and fourth week as we
Yeah.
move forward, yeah.
I actually just emailed you guys the calendar that I drafted up for your
Okay.
review.
So we can vote on that the next meeting if you want as
Okay.
well.
So we'll come in when it's convenient, so, you know, if you have a real, you know, heavy load, we're not gonna come in and bore you with our stuff. But I think it would be interesting for you guys to see, that facility, the way that, you know, it's second nature to him, so he doesn't get as amazed as I do, you know, the old guy walking up and down the slopes, but, we'd be happy to do that. Would be very, very good thing, I think, for everybody.
yeah, that would be great, and it'll be good for all the new members too.
Yep.
So, thank you, Dan. And then just work with the team and just
And
on
if the
schedule.
new members, if you guys wanna come up, we're there, call,
I do all the time.
you're already there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, come on up and, make an appointment. We'll show you around,
Yeah.
give you the ride.
They give a great tour.
All right, so Dan, thank you very much for coming
Thank
in
you.
and for all you do.
Thanks, Dan.
We
All right.
appreciate it.
Have a good evening, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item is public comment on non-agenda items. I don't think we have anybody here from the public. Okay, so moving on, it's the health agents report.
So nothing really too much going on right now. Just want to update a reminder that our vaccination clinic is next Thursday from 9 to 12 at the community building here in the gym. You can register on our website, or you can call the office if you want help registering for that. We still have some slots left.
What vaccines are you giving?
We're doing COVID and flu, high-dose flu, adult and children flu and COVID.
And what was that other vaccine, the clinic you were
Yeah.
doing about the?
So the Bourne Housing Authority, Roland Finney Place over in Pecasset, we're doing a vaccine clinic the day before with the VNA for residents of the Bourne Housing Authority.
Okay, and then I thought there was one other thing you were doing about
Cologuard?
colon.
Cologuard.
Yes,
Right.
so that's at the Roland Finney Place clinic. They thought that would be a good age group to target to see if we could get anybody that wanted to do colon cancer scans.
Okay, but anybody can, from the public can sign up for that?
You just have to call the Bourne Housing Authority because they're doing paper signups for that one.
Okay, so it's not through us.
It is through us, but they're hosting it, so
Okay,
yeah.
and that's for colon screening for anybody that, anybody that wants to go, you don't have to be,
Yep.
okay.
Anybody can take those
Yes.
tests,
Mhm.
but not everyone, the insurance won't cover everyone. You have to meet certain parameters.
Yes, exactly,
But
yeah.
they'll do that when they,
But they'll go through that whole
Yeah.
education process with them while they're there.
Okay. Okay, and what about people that don't have insurance? Is it covered for them?
It
We don't
depends
know.
on I don't know about that, but I know all of our offerings that we're doing there don't require insurance.
Okay,
Yeah, everything is free.
okay. All right, so anything else, Katie?
Nothing from us right now.
Okay, and then, so the next thing is comments from the board in regard to future agenda items. Does anybody have anything?
So I have yes, a proposal. I've been thinking about this, and that will be for the springtime. Can we do a Board of Health sponsor or whatever, 5K walk or run, or both? They can do whatever they want to do.
Wait a minute, 5K hobble?
And Well, if, because the lady from the enterprise, she seemed friendly for us to write something, and, we could do that, get the community moving, and I don't know, there are things, usually the springtime,
Yeah.
is the best time to do that.
That's a great idea, especially, like, we welcome, like, you guys have the medical background that, we've been wanting on the board, so yeah, anything like that, or things on, being healthy or other things, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we could definitely look into it. I mean, I think, not necessarily a town entity in the past, but I know we've, as a town, have approved use of town property to set up staging areas like that in the park over here and then run along the canal for certain things like that. So it's something that we
Sure.
could look into, see how,
A 5K walk.
yeah.
Instead of a run.
Walk or run, depending on who wants to do
Right,
what,
whatever.
yeah.
That's exactly what I thought, that
Yeah.
if it will be done in the park, and then people can do it on the
Yeah.
canal,
Mm-hmm.
and if we can get sponsors, the food trucks and stuff, just to get people involved in doing things that are,
Yeah, so I don't know, has anybody ever done anything like that, or do we know who to contact if we want to?
I definitely reached out to Katie in the rec department. She's done similar events, so I can
Okay.
see how she works that process, where she gets any extra funding from, if she just relies fully on sponsors, that kind of stuff. So we could do that.
And then the question is, Katie,
Mhm.
and I don't know, Miguel, it's your suggestion here. Do you have time to do some of these things that like contact, like help us figure out how to help Katie? Like, obviously Katie in her team works for us, but we also want to make sure that, we're not just giving her everything,
right,
so.
no, and, I'll be willing to participate, and in the springtime,
Yeah, we don't have to do it now, I don't think.
no,
Oh, yeah.
no, but if we're
Yeah.
gonna
After
plan
the
for
new
the
year.
spring, during the winter time,
Start
which is
now,
the
yeah.
downtime, we have to
Yeah.
start doing that.
So maybe
And I'd
Katie,
be
you
willing to
start
help
and make the
too,
connection.
Yeah.
And we'll all help however we can, but somebody needs to like spearhead
Right,
it.
tell us what to do, you mean?
Yeah, tell us what to do.
Yes, exactly.
But maybe Katie, you make the introduction.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we'll figure it out and come up with the game plan.
Here we go again, another woman telling me again what I'm gonna do.
I was also thinking about your other suggestion with you, Miguel, what is it? The healthy living, or.
Yeah, that was.
Well, this is part of it, and that's one of the things. And then, if we decide we're going to reach out to food trucks, I will contact them to see, besides what they offer, if they can offer healthy food too.
Yeah, instead of like fried dough and.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
right, and that kind of stuff.
Lean into the healthy
I don't
living
know, we
portion
could,
of it.
yeah, I'd have a brochures or something available. That would, I know, that's probably a lot of work, but just to talk about it, because I was thinking, even if you talked about doing a demonstration, that probably would not be the venue to do that, but even a demonstration here of cooking or
So
food.
I did a talk here for the Center Council of Aging about, it was in the summer, several months ago, and I'll be happy to do another one. But the whole goal of this will be to get people moving, and there are other venues that a cooking demonstration will be one, or class. The other thing is, I remember Bob had mentioned about doing some kind of newsletter, and
Yeah.
I'll be happy to write something about this, and the 6 pillars of, lifestyle medicine. There are 4 things that only 3% of the population does, and I think I mentioned this before, but if you do them, you can prolong your life. The ladies up to 14 years, we get 10 to 12.
Wow.
I know, and it's not anything off the wall, which is social engagement, so I'll have to come up with an event, but if we're doing this walk, it's a social thing
Right.
too. The exercising, eating 5 servings of fruit and or vegetables, and not smoking.
Yeah.
People think 5 servings is a lot, but a serving is half a cup. So if you have a cup of salad, that's 2 servings.
We could even have a very simple flyer with those points.
Yeah, with
And
those
have
points.
those available at this event that you're talking about, just education.
Right, and, and I was thinking that eventually, if we give out, or create this health passports, and when people check those things,
Yeah.
and I don't know what kind of prize, we cannot give candy as a prize. What kind of prize we will give out, or you know,
Yeah.
it's just to get the kids involved too.
No, I think that's a great idea, because honestly, like, it makes you want to eat, like, exercise and do things if you figure you're gonna gain 14 years on your life, or, 10+ years.
That's without doctors. How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
He's working himself out of a job.
So, no, I think that's a great idea. Okay, anything else?
This isn't for a future event, but just quickly, that I would be interested in going to the landfill. If that is something you really need, that some representative of the Board of Health needs to go when there's whales are needing to be disposed of, to observe that the proper protocol is being followed. Is that the point? And if that's something that really needs to be done, now, if that's something we should leave to them, but if a representative of the board, and if you go, I'd like to go. I'd like to go and observe as well. That's something and so just letting you know.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts that, because right now, we put all the onus on Dusty to do that, because
I go and learn what needs to be done, and then,
We're only there to observe
yeah.
and overwatch, but I get fascinated by a team of girls. They're girls.
careful.
7 of them can do what they do, because a whale isn't that
I know, right?
easy. It's a tough-skinned
Amazing.
animal. And
Yeah.
It amazes me in how synchronized they are, what they're after, to diagnose what happened to the whale.
And as Dan said too, is, the Board of Health is more of like the public persona versus the ISWIM peoples that are working. So if the public sees something happening, they're gonna call the Board of Health. They're gonna stop someone that they know is on the Board of Health and ask them those questions, like, hey, I saw a whale rolling into the landfill, what's that about?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of us being aware of what's going on, that we can verify that they're doing this according to the
Yeah.
correct
Okay.
protocols. Yeah. And if you're interested, it's an interesting process to watch. I brought a couple of the employees from the town down a couple of years ago to watch a very large whale necropsy, and it was really interesting. And using literally a backhoe to peel layers of the skin back.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
They even do dolphins, and I never thought dolphins got to 16 feet in length, but they had one up there that
How
3
often does this
weeks ago.
happen?
More and more as of late.
Yeah.
Too many.
I think we had
Yeah.
like 2 in the last year.
There were 6 dolphins this summer.
Oh, I'm not talking
So
dolphins. like
big
whales.
whales, we had maybe 2 in the
Yeah.
last year.
Up on the south, the Plymouth and that, they had a few up that way. And it's a shame, but I have not seen any marks on any of the mammals or whatever from a boat or
Yeah.
propeller.
It doesn't
jam.
seem like
So
a lot
it's
of
not, it's not boating accidents.
Yeah, it doesn't appear that way in the last couple that I've.
Do we find out the results of the necropsy if we want
They
to?
usually tell us, yeah.
So it hasn't been boats, obviously. It hasn't been.
It hasn't been, not in the
Right.
past, no. We actually had IFA here, they gave a presentation maybe 3 years ago. If I have the recording, I'll send it to you. They had some really good information and stats on how things have been changing and what they're seeing out there. That was a great presentation. It was a long presentation, but it was good.
Okay. So anyway, it sounds like something we should all at least view at least once, Dusty, so we'll leave that up to you to ask us to join. And then, okay, so anything else, any other comments from the board on future agenda items?
I'm not on the board, and I probably should have put this in my report, but we just did enter into a contract for a needs assessment and implementation plan for opioid use disorder with a company, and so we will be starting off kickoff meetings, and I did express that it would be important to include the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen in those meetings as key stakeholders in the town, so that you guys can be a part of the decision-making and assessment process. So when we get meetings set up, I will send those dates out to you guys.
Perfect, thank you for doing that, that's a big,
Yeah.
big task. Okay, And then the next thing is the minutes. I don't think we have October 9th yet.
No.
So, okay, so we have the minutes from July 29th. I was not at that meeting, so I need to abstain, but does anybody have any changes to it? I want to make a motion to approve it.
This is July 29th.
Yeah?
I know it's getting late, so we might decide to,
Do you want to wait on the minutes till the next meeting?
well, let me just say this, because it may, it's the special emergency meeting I'm talking about. Did
Yeah.
we got those?
Yeah, that's July 29th.
Okay,
yeah.
right. There was a statement in here, it said, let's see. Mr. Collette clarifies what the determination of the building commissioner was.
Wait, where are you?
Okay, I'm under number 2, and it's the second paragraph, or maybe the third paragraph. Yeah, the third paragraph. And it starts with Julie Baugh, the occupant.
Yeah,
Questions the decision of the
Oh, I see.
board, explaining the lack of safety. Mr. Collette clarifies what the determination of the building commissioner was and why they could not deem the home unfit for human habitation. And I just wanted to say that it was my understanding that we could. It was a possibility.
So that was the purpose of the meeting until the building commissioner had deemed that the other window was another exterior.
I thought that was, see, I'm glad you're clarifying
Yeah.
this. I thought that the building commission, or the building inspector, that he had the option of condemning the building. And he said, I can't condemn it. That was a building committee thing, or building department thing, I mean. That, he said, it's not, eligible to be condemned because of the egress from the window was possible. But I thought the unfit for human habitation was a different designation, and that was falling under our purview.
So yes, so the unfit for human habitation was our purview, and it was in relation to the exterior egress, the back staircase.
Okay.
right.
And so basically the code states that you need to have the second egress. That's what the code states.
Right.
So
We
that
don't
was specific
we don't
to the
determine what
deck.
the egress is. That's a building code definition. So when he defined that there was another secondary egress, that's when we could no longer deem it unfit for that particular reason.
But that's,
Yeah.
okay, I get it now, for that specific thing, because I'm
Yeah,
thinking
there are
about
other reasons that we
the
could deem
mold
unfit.
issue,
Yeah.
and that could still be before us.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well,
Okay.
We can
no, then,
correct
that
that
makes
line if
sense,
that
I
makes-
accept that, I just
Okay.
wanted to question that.
Okay. Any other comments, Margaret? Or, no, it's
No,
okay.
no, not on this, anyway.
Okay, so do one of you three want to make a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 29th, 2024.
Is there a
I second that.
Okay, any
Aye.
discussion? Well, we have to have a
Oh.
roll call vote, we have to have a roll call vote, because I need to abstain. So Miguel,
Aye.
Margaret,
Aye.
Dusty,
Aye.
and then I'll abstain. Okay, so the next minutes we have is from August 28th.
So,
Does anybody have any, this brought up another question, did I talk about that?
I felt it.
The follow-up on that, Sagamore Truck and Rail. Does anybody have any comments on the August 29th meeting, 28th?
28.
Pretty faithful to what transpired that meeting.
Yep.
I read them last
Yeah.
night, yeah.
Okay, so, anyone, a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 28th, 2024.
Okay.
I
all-
second.
Okay, so, no discussion, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so unanimous. Okay, so then, I guess the last thing on our agenda is a motion to adjourn.
How about the March 23rd minute means that, none of.
October
we
9th
weren't
isn't
here.
out.
Hmm?
What, the only ones we're approving is July 29th, in August 28th.
Okay.
What other ones do you have?
There was, we got the March 23rd, 2022.
So
Oh,
that
that
was,
was for, that went to the applicant. That
Okay.
that
I was
applicant,
wondering where
that
you-
went to 819 Hannah Bay Road. He's on
I
that
didn't
agenda.
I wanted to provide a little
Oh,
background on the
I
project for you
didn't
guys.
Yes,
so I
that's
could-
what I was reading
Yeah.
from.
I didn't look
those
at
minutes
these
when I
because
was-
I thought they were
I didn't
minutes
remember.
approved. I said, well, I
Paperwork, we
wasn't
all
there.
got going, what are these
Then
dates?
I saw
Where
her,
are they?
you reading from, what?
Yeah,
What
I
is
didn't remember. That was-
Okay.
that
All right,
was-
that clarifies that.
Anyway,
Thank you. I'll read this now.
yeah, so, and then, the October 9th one, we'll just, we'll just review those whenever they're ready.
Yeah, mhm.
Okay, so, we
Make a
already
motion to adjourn?
I second.
did second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, meeting adjourned.
All right.